Hi, this is Mihika Sharma from the Raisena Hills, and we bring you the daily analysis of the editorial carried by India's top English newspapers. So, for today, we have China salami slicing at LAC, Queen Elizabeth's silent loyalty, and transgender accommodation. The 16th round of meeting between the military commanders of China and India yielded disengagement at Gogra Hot Springs in eastern Ladakh. The Times of India, in its editorial, makes it clear that there is no change in the Chinese intent. People's Liberation Army of China, as part of the design, sought to change the status quo on the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. But the salami slicing policy of China had run into ferocious pushback by the brave Indian soldiers in the Galwan Valley. Yet, the Chinese camped on the LAC. Toll stated that the disengagement at Gogra Hot Springs would only mean creation of buffer zone, and the two armies cannot patrol the area. There has been no outcome on disengagement in the Despang Plateau, which is highly strategically critical. The daily cautioned from letting down the guards, for China is clearly executing its plan to push the LAC westwards. Toll bills its counter-response to China's land grabbing spree by asking the government to work with countries such as Japan and the US to inflict economic cost. But this argument is too often spoken by the military veterans. India should, along with economic strategy, break free from the long-held inhibitions and take cue from Taiwan to help build an international narrative on Tibet. The ballooning India-China trade deficit to advantage of Beijing is proof enough that the inflicting economic cost in Beijing is just pipe dream. Queen Elizabeth silent loyalty. From Winston Churchill to Liz Truss, Queen Elizabeth II saw as many as 15 prime ministers in the United Kingdom in her 70-year reign. The Indian Express, the Pioneer, and the Hindu have all recalled her virtue of silence. The dailies chronicled her reign for presiding the collapse of the British Empire, and in the last 2 years of her life, also the economic meltdown of the UK. There is no reason why her monarchy should be celebrated by anyone, for she represented a power that looted the world, killed and mailed several millions, inflicted the worst of the human rights violation in Asian and African countries, while being an antithesis of the people's aspiration for self-governance. The Indian Express mentioned the blemishes of her reign on personal front, which included the controversial love of her sister, Princess Margaret, the tragic death of Diana, the departure of Meghan Markle and Harry. In 2021, Barbados became the 18th country to remove the British monarch from the role of the head of the state. The British monarch remains the head of the state in Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Canada, Grenada, Jamaica, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Salmon Islands, and the Bahamas. The Hindu stated in its editorial, while mentioning countries keen to throw the colonial yokes, India, along with the 55 other countries, is part of the Commonwealth, which is another colonial hangover grouping, with suspect economic on strategic relevance. Transgender accommodation. The Pioneer has welcomed the Supreme Court direction to the central government to form a policy for reasonable accommodation to transgender persons in 3 months. Indeed, it's hypocritical of a society that a section of the people, because of their condition of births, have for several decades have been pushed to the margins to live condemned life of unwanted individuals. Condition of births cannot be punished for denial of space in the social mainstream. The Pioneer, unlike other dailies, has found space to write on transgender is laudable. The Supreme Court bench of the Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Hema Kohli have issued the directions to the central government for reasonable accommodation. Justice Chandrachud, with his several judgments, has shown greater empathy for human values.